Hey everybody, good morning. I'm at the Red Horse Access on the Meramec River in Lonedale, Missouri. I'm going to run about 20 miles upriver today, up to Meramec Caverns. I'm continuing my exploration of the Meramec in ramp-to-ramp segments, one day at a time, and this trip is going to wrap up just past the Sand Ford access. It's getting towards the end of the floating season here, and the water's getting low. We're between two gauge locations. The upstream gauge reads 370 cubic feet per second, and downstream we've got 620 cubic feet per second. So at this level, we're going to run a few shoals today, but for most of our trip, there's going to be enough of a channel for us to keep from scraping. I think this section of river was a little more predictable than the previous segment, River Round to Red Horse. There's fewer oxbows and not as much submerged debris. The clouds did kick up later in the day, and that made the river hard to read. It reminded me of a trip from earlier this summer when I was down on the Current River in Van Buren. A storm started to blow in while I was still a few miles upriver from the ramp, so I ran with the motor full throttle back downstream. The low light made it hard for me to read one of the shallow bends, and I ended up scraping bottom so bad I dragged a hole in the back of the canoe. So when the light went low and the glare made it harder to judge the depth, I slowed down. Never go faster than you want to crash, as they say. This little spot was tricky for me to read at first. I saw the strainer on the left, but couldn't see around the bend to know which fork in the river to take. We're going to go ahead and run it now, but right before this, I crept up to the opening there to scout it, and just as I did, another boat came through from upstream and showed the right path for me to take. So now we're just going to scoot up this narrows to the next pool. These tight turns are always fun for me because I shift my weight, heeling the canoe a little bit, but also reaching over the side with the tiller handle to get it tight enough. This spot is about 9 miles up from the ramp. I almost always stop at the halfway point on my way upstream. It's a good chance to hydrate, take a small snack, and check the engine. And you can see the clouds starting to roll in. This gorgeous pool is about 4 miles downstream from Sand Ford. I'm looking at the map and we should pass Roaring Spring on the right, but I didn't know to watch out for it at the time. Views like this are basically the reason I come out on the water. This wide, shallow river. Plenty of room to play and swim, and some nice bluffs up ahead to stare at. I'll share a story while we cruise past this bluff. I've got a day job that keeps my gas tank topped off and my cooler full for trips like this. And so at work, I have a mentor relationship with this young software developer. We'll call him Jeremiah. He's right out of school. So I'm talking with Jeremiah about all the prep work that goes into trips like this. You got to plan it, schedule it, stock the cooler, and leave no trace, right? So Jeremiah's reaction is somewhat aloof. He says to me, "Sounds like a lot of work though if you're trying to relax." And he's not trying to be confrontational. He was curious. So I said, "Jeremiah, for however bad this sounds to put in the effort, you have to imagine that the upside of this, the good part, is actually worth the price." And I think views like this are really what show that. For this, it's worth waking up at dawn to drive 1, 2, sometimes 3 hours to get to the ramp. It's worth doing extra chores during the week so you have time on the weekend. It's worth doing the research and the preparation and all of its drudgery, because when you feel like you're out in front of this with your friends on the water in the beauty of creation, that's the payoff. Here we've gone around the oxbow to the west, and it's another wide pool with some shorter bluffs. Just a little further up is the Caverns. There's not much to see from the river. It's a parking lot and a long facade like many other roadside attractions along historic Route 66. I got a good selfie at a nice bluff up past the Caverns and had a quick snack, and then started back downriver. Okay, so I'm coming back up on Roaring Spring here, and first I see one, then three, and then before you know it, half dozen jet boats coming around the bend. I killed the motor and waded off in this eddy while, sure enough, the Jet Medic Tool gang comes to check out the cave. I talked briefly with a handful of folks, some of whom I've chatted with online. One of the last boats around the bend was Mr. Jet Medic himself, Shane Stevens, who was nice enough to come say hi with me for a few minutes. Then they headed upriver to see the Caverns, and I continued my trip back downstream. I can't keep up with those guys. They run real shallow and 30 or so miles per hour. My little boat does about 10. We're almost back to the ramp now, but I wanted to show you this spot where the river gets so narrow you could toss a folding chair across it. It gets narrow like this, and it still has to pass the same amount of water as the upstream segments. So it's going to be deeper and faster. And sometimes you call this a chute. So there's another boat here that needs to run it, and I'm going to get out of the way over here to the side. And that's basically it for this trip, folks. Thanks for coming with me. I will see you on the water.